In this video, we're talking about the daily stand-up. The daily stand-up is basically a status meeting that's done on a daily basis. It's also called the daily SCRUM. Now, if you look at the sprint process, the team will be working during the sprint on the different activities, the different stories, and they will then do a daily status meeting where they sync up with each other about what they've been working on. This helps them to keep a focus on the activities and making sure that nobody is left behind. So you will see that the daily scrum is happening on a daily basis, and it's usually a status meeting lasting no longer than 5 to 15 minutes, and it is a meeting. It's called a daily stand-up. In many companies, they actually stand up, and one of the reasons is you don't want the meeting to last too long. You want to make sure that everybody stay focused on what they have to talk about. So no long meetings, no talking about unnecessary things. And one way of keeping this focus is to making sure that all team members, they answer 3 questions. So these 3 questions, I've listed them here. It's basically that each team member will update on what the team member has been working on yesterday, right? Or if it's over the weekend, then what was the team member working on Friday? What could help the team to meet the sprint goal. The sprint goal is basically the goal that the team made when they did the sprint plan. So that means that they have agreed to work on a certain number of stories which has been placed in the sprint backlog. The second question that each team member will respond to is, what have I done today, or what will I do today, sorry. That is basically to update the rest of the team on what this team member will be working on during that current day. Now note that at the same time as they go through these questions, they will also update the Scrum board. So that means that if there is a story in the sprint backlog, it will be moved from the backlog to doing. If the person has been working on the same story yesterday as the person would be you working on today, the story is still in doing in the Scrum board. The last question focuses on any issues that the team member may have that will prevent them from finishing the work that they plan to work on. So that is basically to inform the rest of the team if they need help. So let's say that there's an issue with some dependencies on other database connections that they need to get access to in order to finish that particular story. Then maybe another team member was working on that, and they can make sure that that become available for them so they can continue their work. It can also be other issues that they have that may be hardware related or other things that other team members also can look into to make sure that things go smoothly. So just to get back to the sprint goal, here I show an example of the sprint backlog. So if you remember from the sprint plan, the team defined a certain number of stories that they would work on, and the sprint goal is defined by that planned set of stories that they would complete. So they have committed that they will complete this amount of stories by the end of the sprint. So this is what they will be focusing on during the time slot of the sprint.